Christmas good deeds! Free windshield wash! Merry Christmas!
Well, people, here we are. The end of a year, and the end of an era, and the end of a chapter I once thought would last forever. My last video, at least for now. And honestly, it makes sense. 2025 has been rough for pretty much everyone. Between the constant global turbulence and even Disney jumping headfirst into their latest AI experiment, it feels like the whole world has been overstimulated and exhausted. I am no exception. This year forced me to make mistakes I made and the people I hurt. The silence from Hardy, aka Victor Fasper, hit the hardest, reminding me of that letter in April and the videos I pushed out afterward. Like the Sonic 3 review that was supposed to be fun, but just showed how badly I needed to slow down. I pushed myself because I thought non-stop creation was the only way to matter. This final video is a reset, a step back. It's a review of a movie about a boy who goes to space in search for alien life. Something my dad considered as too childish for an adult. But animation isn't immaturity. It's a medium that can hit deeper than most live-action films ever tried to. It's where I found my voice. And now, I'm learning that there's more to me than the content I make. But hey, my journey is far from over. I'll be making 3 more videos, which I'll talk about after the end of this one. So, here it is. One final review before I figure out what comes next. Let's begin. Alright, so what is Elio about? Well, according to sources, Elio is a 2025 animated film from Disney and Pixar Animated Studios. The story follows Elio Solis, an imaginative 11-year-old with an unshakable curiosity about the universe. When he finds himself in a situation far beyond anything he has ever imagined, he embarks on a journey full of adventure, humor, and personal growth, encountering extraordinary challenges and meeting a range of unique characters along the way. The film is directed by Adrian Molina and Madeleine Sharafian, produced by Mary Alice Drum, and features a talented voice cast including Jonas Gabriel as Elio. True to Pixar's signature style, Elio explores themes of identity, belonging, and imagination, offering a story that resonates with audiences of all ages. The animation style combines Pixar's cutting-edge visuals with inventive world building, giving viewers a universe that is both fantastical and emotionally grounded. Elio premiered on June 20th, 2025 in theaters and is now available on Disney+, making it accessible for audiences worldwide. While the final story has been praised for its creativity and heart, the film's development was far from straightforward. Early in production, Pixar experimented with different plotlines, character dynamics, and story elements, Reports indicate that some aspects of the original concept, ranging from character traits to narrative beats, were eventually reworked or removed to strengthen the story, illustrating the studio's commitment to refining its films until they reach their fullest potential. This iterative process is typical of Pixar, where multiple story versions, test screenings, and creative discussions shape the final product. This film's journey from concept to screen is, well, a demonstration of years of collaboration between writers, directors, animators, and voice actors, reflecting the studio's dedication to storytelling, emotional resonance, and originality. The project itself is not new, however. Plans for a movie like this stretch back several years, with the film officially announced at the D23 Expo in September 2022. Since then, the production team has worked meticulously to bring Elio Solis' story to life, balancing humor, heart, and imagination in a way that appeals to both children and adults. The result is a film that not only entertains, but also inspires, encouraging audiences to embrace curiosity, creativity, and the possibility of the extraordinary in everyday life. Oh, by the way, did I mention that Pete Docter was involved in this movie? Yeah, the same guy who created Inside Out and Inside Out 2, as well as the spin-off series Dream Productions. Yeah, that guy. He really was collaborating in this entire project. Actually, when it comes to the project, there's a lot of things about designs. Speaking of that, some viewers have noticed that Elio's appearance bears a passing resemblance to Tommy 11. For those who don't know, he's a young Chilean YouTuber who became a global sensation in 2021. Tomás Pablo Blanc Toledo, also known as Tommy 11 by his nickname, was a kid whose heartfelt dream of becoming a successful creator inspired millions worldwide. Communities rallied around him as he battled brain cancer, helping him achieve extraordinary subscriber milestones in record time. He sadly passed away at age 12, leaving behind a legacy of courage, determination, and widespread empathy. Given that context, comparisons between fictional characters and this kid naturally carry weight beyond mere aesthetics. Now, not everybody respected this kid's legacy and history. Some online commentators, like Shellos One Life, I hope I pronounced that right, made insensitive remarks that were widely criticized. And hey, Shellos, if you're watching this, I sincerely hope you've reflected and changed your ways. Because if you haven't, well, know that my eyes are wide open. And trust me, the next time your name crosses my path, the commentary won't be warm, gentle, or forgiving. Consider this a quiet, cold stare you only get once before the truth starts sounding a lot sharper. Talking about stuff like anime or other fandoms? Sure, no problem. But mocking someone's death? You do realize how deeply wrong that is, right? That's not edgy. That's not honesty. That's sheer impudence. Every second of it. Hearing people mock someone's death, regardless of the situation, is where I draw the goddamn line. There's a boundary between commentary and cruelty, and crossing it isn't bold. It's just a failure of basic compassion. Mark my words, Shallows, while you sit there, wrapped in anime regarding children, which, take my word for it, is disturbingly wrong and has no place anywhere near decent corners of the internet, keep this in mind. I may carry my own baggage, but I hold myself to a line I refuse to cross. I do not celebrate a passing. Not ever. That kind of darkness is reserved only for situations where someone's actions have truly defied basic compassion. And if you want an example of a figure whose behavior generally unsettles me, whose name alone sends a cold tremor down my spine, look no further than Bella the Wolf. Even uttering her name feels like touching ice. But hey, let's dial down the venom for a moment, because when Elio premiered, Stitch apparently decided to wreak havoc at Disney's headquarters, just to stir chaos across the film industry. His Ohana movie may have worked back in 2002, but does it still hold up today? Let's take a closer look with a keen eye, shall we? Remember this story? Yeah, Me too. When it comes to movies, there's going to be at least one competitor that will try really hard to dethrone other movies. It happened with Sonic 3, with Mufasa the Lion King. It happened with Minecraft, with, Snow White. Ugh. And it also happened with Elio. But for this last one, here's the twist. Disney is competing against themselves. Back if you don't know, Disney bought Pixar on January 24th, 2006, making Toy Story 1 their very first movie under the legacy of the House of Mouse. This acquisition meant that two animation powerhouses with distinct creative philosophies now resided under one roof. For years, this was largely beneficial, with Pixar continuing to deliver critical movies and commercial hits while Disney Animation found its footing again. However, the current landscape introduces a new, fascinating, and potentially perilous dynamic. When the Lilo and Stitch remake came out on May 22nd, 2025, fans were excited to see if Disney was going to make a noteworthy live-action remake after the disaster that was Snow White. I honestly didn't want to watch it for a good amount of reasons. Captain Gantu didn't make the cut, the CGI for aliens looks really rough, especially Jumba and Bleakley. Stitch's character design and development has been diminished, and the ending for the movie was so atrocious, it has distorted the meaning of Ohana to the point it's non-existing. We get it, Disney. Ohana means family, and family never leaves you nor forgets you. So why on earth did you make this lame excuse of a remake?
Va bene, sotto corrimente bata na prosciutto da euro.
Lilyboo? Who's Lilyboo?
Patansunan po ka na pa sa fratello. Papi para to tarabato na tuto.
Mario, you're not supposed to nickname her. Once you nickname her, you start getting attached to her. Now put that thing back where it came from, or so help me! Hey, we're rehearsing a scene for the upcoming company play called Put That Thing Back Where It Came From, or So Help Me. Yeah, it's a musical. We're still working on it. It's a work in progress under the direction of Puzzle Vision, but hey, we need ushers. And when it comes out, trust us, it'll be worth the wait. Back to my analysis. When it comes to numbers, Elio really had it rough at the box office. According to the numbers, Elio had a budget of $150 million. The amount they got in return? Almost $154 million, having an earning of just roughly $4 million, making it a failed success. Despite this, IMDb gave it a solid 6.8 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes? A freshly 83% on the popcorn meter and a 90% score on the audience. And while the Blue Alien Bastard got an identical score on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a decent 72% on the popcorn meter, and on the audience score, the audience thought it was better, on air quotes, giving it a 92%. Hot take here, this makes me not want to play any Kingdom Hearts game ever. Sorry, Sora. You're sadly not hired. No, not you, Sora AI. Sora the human. That guy. He's not invited to my game. Nor will I ever play as him in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate if I ever get that game. Sorry. And speaking of failed successes, let's talk about a trend I've been noticing lately. It seems like the studios have been pushing a certain type of movie lately. And the audience? Well, they aren't having it. Just look at the movies like Lightyear and Strange World. Sure, they spent a fortune on those, but the returns were, for the lack of a better word, pitiful. It's almost like people want to go to the theater to be entertained, not to get a lecture. Even Wish, which was supposed to be the big anniversary movie, just sort of existed. All that marketing and still wouldn't connect with the audience. I'm starting to think these films have something in common. But the real kicker is Inside Out 2. That movie is a box office juggernaut. A genuine feel-good hit. Everyone I know loves it. I even made my own review, which was a heartfelt, honest take on why it's so good. But to some people out there, it looks like an offensive tearjerker. I'm not even kidding. Apparently, trying to be wholesome is a controversial move these days. You just can't win, can you? But hey, let's cut the drama for a second and move on to the story. Surely this movie will have something to make me change my mind, right? Right? Alright, so what's the story about? Well, strap in. If you guys are fanatics of interstellar life, to the point you are diehard fans of the Crewniverse, then boy are you in for a treat. So we start off at an observatory, where we meet our main human protagonists, Elio Solis and her caretaker, Olga Solis. According to her dialogue, she's Elio's aunt, so that makes Elio her nephew. Okay, that's fair enough. It seems like Elio's family has seen many ups and downs, so much so that Olga is distracted by her teammates' conversation that she lost track of him. Lost in thought, Elio wanders off and stumbles upon an attraction that's still in development. Amazed by the mysteries of the universe, Elio was left with one major question. Are we the only species that are alive in this wide and vast universe? This question will be his major plot point as we go through this movie. Sometime later, at a nice day on the beach, Elio tries his best to be adopted by aliens. Time passes, but no luck. Over time, this question becomes a fixation, at which point, after a serious problem, one of his eyes gets badly injured and harms the fellow kids. Olga, disappointed by his behavior, tries to figure out what's really wrong with him. Naturally, this is where I step in, an entirely unqualified psychologist with an impressive lack of insight, to offer my professional conclusion. One word: autism. Just consider the evidence for a second. Mood swings, obsessive fixations, and attention span that collapses under basic scrutiny. It's all very convincing, assuming you trust the judgment of someone who shouldn't be trusted with a houseplant. Elio is autistic, without question, according to me, which already tells you everything you need to know. And if you want a genuine, real-world example of someone coping with autism, look no further than the controversial idiot filming this self-deprecating video. At this point, it's hard not to wonder if the world might have been better off without my commentary, or possibly without me altogether. Either way, I'm not exactly optimistic about how 2026 is shaping up. Elio overhears a conversation among the cadets about aliens and decides to sneak in, while the workers, Gunther and Melmac included, argue over whether they should respond to the message sent by the Voyager. Elio, completely fascinated by this, records a very enthusiastic message. Olga, worn out by his behavior, tells him flatly that aliens aren't coming for him. Maybe she's never had to deal with autistic kids. Anyway, back to me. Unfortunately, I've been dealing with autism since I was 8. Yes, 8. Quietly fighting through it in my own way. In the real world, I ran laps around the material. I mean, really, I was being the best student at school. I picked up things easily that others struggled with. Online though, I somehow became the opposite of that, reduced to a reputation that barely resembles who I am. Two versions of the same person, neither particularly impressive. Maybe social media just isn't made for autistic people like me. Or maybe it's just not made for me at all. At this point, even my sense of self-worth feels like something I misplaced a long time ago and never bothered to look for. Oh well, at least suicide is still there to support me. Couldn't kill myself this year, so might as well do it next year. Hoping to make his fixation disappear, Olga tries to put him in a scout camp, to which Elio is really not liking it and escapes. Olga, in the meantime, finds out an unknown signal and feels shocked by the universe's message. Bring us your leader, please. Elio, almost dead by the bullies, is saved by a spark of hope that later abducts him. The ship just so happens to be a transporter to the one and only place where many species communicate and talk with each other, the Communiverse. Here's where we meet some of the brightest minds in the Communiverse. Questa of Gum, Helix of Faluvinum, okay, and Techman of Techmech. Huh. The community discs made by Naos, I'll deal with that later, are the universal discs for gravity, temperature, and languages. Yes, even Elioese. I'm not even sure how that is spoken, but I'll figure that out. And hey, Duolingo, while you're at it, how about we make a course for Elioese? Surely that will work, right? Anyway, not only that, but they made the Universal User's Manual, who contains the deepest secrets of the universe. Yes, even that one stupid question about 1,000 men versus one gorilla, or whatever that is. On the meeting space for candidate selection, we get to meet our antagonist, Lord Grigon of Hylurg. Knowing his violent behavior is reminiscent of a certainly familiar Turtle King. Sorry. He decides to declare an invasion to the Communiverse, to violently proclaim his place and quite possibly rule the whole universe. Elio, determined to bring peace to the Communiverse, decides to have a word with him. This plan includes making a clone of him as a temporary replacement on Earth while the mission is afloat. While this operation was happening, Lord Grigon returns with his army, just like a certain Turtle King once did. Sorry again. And sucks him into the ship. Here's where we see Lord Grigon's motives. Their species is highly violent, that it's because of those traits that the Communiverse rejected him. While escaping from the prison they put him, Elio meets the Prince of Hylurg and son of Grigon, Glorden. Grigon's plan is very simple, to make Glorden, his son, the best war machine to honor his highly destructive legacy. In an attempt of negotiation, Elio tries to use Glorden as a way to make a bargain and put the universe in peace, but dare to harm him just once and doom will come. According to Grigon, Hylurgians are supposed to be strong, manipulating, and violent. You want to know who that reminds me of? Rest easy, Bowser. I'm not talking about you, but rather Doug Maheshwaran, father of Connie Maheshwaran. Oh, and my father too. He's highly intelligent and all, sure, but when it comes to emotions, yeah, safe to say he's an idiot. While Elio and Glorden conversate about their weaknesses and negative thoughts, the Hylurgians make the ceremony on the Communiverse, to which Elio has a plan. Make a clone of Glorden to fool the king, that is, Grigon. Olga, in the meantime, analyzes the fake Elio's patterns and finally finds out that she's been dealing with a clone. A faker. The exact same clone of Elio that was sent to Earth as a replacement. Back in the Communiverse, the clone plan fails, and Elio and Glorden are sent back to Earth. With Olga, Elio, and the fake Elio all reunited, they decide to rescue Glorden and save the Communiverse. The bullies, named Bryce and Caleb, as well as Melmac, help out on the plan, eventually leading to Elio, Olga, and Glorden to where Grigon was. Grigon, moved by the loss Elio was suffering, decides to expose his flesh and reveal his soft, caring side. Oh well, just goes to show you that even the harshest father can have a heart of gold. Sometimes. With a humble apology from Grigon, after a thoughtful explanation, the Communiverse is saved. Olga finally realizes she's been quite harsh on him, just like Grigon did, and reconciles with him. At the end of the day, being unique does not mean you're alone. It means you are different in ways the world hasn't learned how to listen to yet. Sure, not everyone can learn quickly from mistakes, myself included, and while most of us have committed an unforgivable crime or two, does that stop us from admitting our wrongdoings? Honestly, no. Sometimes we confess, sometimes we fumble through explanations, and sometimes we just quietly carry the weight, pretending it isn't dragging us down. Myself, I tend to do a little of all three, and somehow that still doesn't make me feel any lighter. I may not want to explain everything, not because I'm tired of repeating myself, but because I fear my words will burden others. To those I've hurt, intentionally or not, I'm truly sorry. To my fans who have shown me patience and support despite my flaws, I owe an apology deeper than words can express. I let my ego, my naivety, and my impulses push me into corners that should never have been touched. And what did it lead to? A mess. A mess that may take years to clean up, if it ever truly can. I don't want to be in jail. That's the last place I want to be. Not because I'm trying to escape consequences, but because I still hope for a chance to take responsibility, to grow, and to make amends beyond punishment. Even in my silence, even in my mistakes, I am quietly remorseful. I hold the hope that, however imperfectly, I can do better, that you can forgive the missteps I cannot undo, and that you can see, beneath the flawed online version of me, that there is a person trying, stumbling, and sincerely wishing not to hurt anyone again. Maybe the world is still too big. Maybe I'm still too small. But I hope you can feel the weight of my apology and the effort behind it, however clumsy it may be. With that out of the way, I think it's about time we talk about the conclusions I have with the movie, and wrap up the story once and for all. In conclusion, despite the challenges this movie had to face, from its turbulent production to premiering alongside the nostalgic powerhouse that is Lilo and Stitch, it stands out as a sincere and very imaginative original in a cinematic landscape overcrowded with recycled stories. It might not be Pixar's cleanest or most polished work, but deep down inside, Elio carries something far more important: the courage to be original and to be new. Studios often fall back on comfort zones. Why take risks when you can churn out Toy Story 5 or Incredibles 3? Those projects feel like corporate inertia. Elio, by contrast, feels like they pushed something new forward, and that alone deserves respect. Credit where it's due, Pete Docter has long championed storytelling that dares to be vulnerable. Inside Out and Inside Out 2 didn't just make us cry, they made us reflect on growing up, changing, and feeling. Elio carries that same spirit. It reminds us that new ideas, however strange, are worth pursuing. Looking ahead, I'm excited to dive into 3 upcoming projects, each of which will get its own spotlight in 2026. The first one being The Mitchells vs. the Machines, set to be released on early 2026. This video will explore how AI is reshaping animation, storytelling, and creativity itself. From the clever integration of technology into the film's plot, to the broader implications of AI tools in filmmaking, I'll analyze what works, what challenges the medium faces, and why stories like this remain emotionally important, even in a world increasingly run by algorithms. Think of it as a lens for understanding the future of cinema while celebrating a Netflix film that still manages to be heartfelt, hilarious, and smart. Later in June 2026, you're gonna see the Super Mario Galaxy movie review. As you probably guessed, this one is inspired directly by Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. And yes, I played both games beforehand. This video will explore the challenges of translating the gravity-defying gameplay and whimsical universe of the Mario Galaxy games into a cinematic story. We'll look at the creative choices, the narrative risks, and the surprises that could make this adaptation shine or stumble. By the end, you'll see how Mario's adventure proves that sometimes, even in animation, you just have to launch yourself and trust that it will land. It's a deep dive for gamers and animation fans alike. The release of this movie will be somewhere around April 2026, but I will release the review in June as that's going to be my birthday month, and hey, I'll be turning 22 by that time, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Last but not least will be the K-pop Demon Hunters movie review. This one's going to be a high-energy, high-effort breakdown of the Netflix movie K-pop Demon Hunters, featuring Huntrix, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, and their signature moves in both animation and music. This video will prove Disney and AI slop how it's done, and you better believe it's going to be a golden review. We'll dive into clever choreography, myth-inspired storytelling, and the way each character holds up a takedown on low expectations, keeping you hooked and wondering what it sounds like. Expect a playful, detailed look at why this movie resonates, how it balances spectacle with substance, and why it remains one of the most unique cultural phenomena in animation history. This last one will be set somewhere around August 2026 to celebrate the very first anniversary of the movie. Each of these videos is a chance to explore storytelling, creativity, and culture from new angles. I can't wait to share what I've discovered. Elio reminds us that animation should never fear being weird or absolutely noob. We don't need more sequels, we need more Elios. And even if they stumble, they are still walking forward. Well, I guess I still have time to actually do some stuff. What do you want to do, Mario?
Patansunan pa ka na pa sa Fratello?
You, want to watch memes until we get tired of it?
Oh yeah!
You know what? Fuck it. I don't have a better way to waste my time. Let's do it. Oh, and, Mario?
Pa din, at so tutkurimete bata na parsuta da iguro.
I have one last confession to make. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm bisexual. Yeah, I know. Highly controversial as hell. I was really going to be against the LGBT community and all, but, I really had to confess that right out of the way. And yes, for those who are wondering, I am bisexual, and that is canon. End of discussion. Now, creator, if you would be so kind to close the door right now. Thank you.